The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
And in keeping with the international theme of the day, our stock is IREN. It's listed on the NASDAQ. It's a data center operator and it's expanding its AI business. It's actually an Aussie company, and it says that new AI data center contracts will increase its revenues. So to foster its growth, IREN is boosting its GPU chips capacity with 11,000 ordered from NVIDIA. So IREN powers its data centers through renewable energies, and it's also looking to raise $1.5 billion. Look at that share price performance on screen just this year. Mark Gardner from MPC Markets, Mark Moreland from Value 3 here with me in studio. Mark Gardner, MPC, I'll start with you. Now,
yes.
I interviewed this company ages ago. They started out as a Bitcoin miner using clean energy, from my understanding.
Well, I mean, that's who found out that NVIDIA chips were useful, were the Bitcoin miners. It's an interesting story. And I mean, look, we're largely bullish Bitcoin, and generally, for the long term, some of the, the primary cryptos is probably for a bit of a younger investing audience. But look, and it also it very much helps that, it's a bit of a short US dollar position. But I just didn't they were a little bit scorned in Australia, and they've gone overseas and done very well. But just but what's not to like? I mean, it's a high energy. They're a few years ahead of the game. These guys were nearly bankrupt, apparently 3 years ago, and they're now worth. There's two Sydney-born brothers. They're now worth well over $1 billion each, and it's a great success story. So, but yeah, renewable energy. Bitcoin mining was already. So they're already coming from a really high base in terms of energy usage. And then now the AI's sort of come to them, and I guess they can start to pick their margin essentially, because Bitcoin mining is getting harder and harder, and there's less margin in it, and it's very a little bit lucky possibly, but also position. When you position yourself well, you tend to get lucky. So I think AI coming along, it's an opportunity for them to increase their margins, whereas Bitcoin mining might have started a decline, and then. Someone, particularly because they're run off of renewables, there'll be some companies out there that want to have their logo on the, we use X data center and things like that if they're paying a small premium and things. But I'd never really heard of it prior to this, and I'd love to see that interview actually. But yeah, I think hybrid Bitcoin AI story, they're two pretty hot thematics, and I don't see them losing any business anytime soon. So it's like, you saw that chart, it's up, 300 or 400%.
I think it was 700% this year.
Or 700% this year. No, I was going to say in about the last month or so.
Yeah. So would you buy it?
That's another dollar cost average one. I quite like it. Some advice Claude Walker gave on the call years ago was like, buy a small amount so you keep track of it, and then add on weakness if you continue to like it. But it'd be one of those ones that you'll inevitably forget about if you don't have it on your watch list. But super interesting company doing great things, and the market's sort of coming to them, which is always an advantageous thing for a company.
All right.
So a nibble, a spec nibble.
Yeah, I do know a bit about it. They're listed on NASDAQ, by the way, for any of the viewers, because we talked about them being Australian. They were Australian guys, but they moved to the US, which was a good idea.
Couldn't get funding,
by the way.
I don't think.
Yeah. So they still are a big Bitcoin miner, by the way. They haven't shifted from that. At the moment, their cloud business is about 3% of their revenue, and that's gone from 3 million last year for cloud to 16 million in the last 12 months. And they reckon they've got a runway to 200 to 250 million a year in reoccurring revenue for the cloud business. If they can achieve that, then it's a good buy right now. So their leverage to cloud. The why that's happening is there's companies called APLD and Wolf and Riot as well, are all Bitcoin miners that are trying to do exactly the same thing, which is pivot into the cloud. Why they're doing that is because they have the energy resources already committed. And Bitcoin mining is a hard business to make money out of.
Yeah. And
most of these companies are very on the edge all the time. They don't have a lot of financial strength. IREN is the best one out of them, by the way, and they've currently got about 560 million in cash in the bank and 960 million in debt. but they've committed this 11,000 GPUs with NVIDIA, which they plan to have implemented by end of 25. So they've got a 68% margin, which is excellent, and they've turned cash flow positive in 25. So they've only just gone into the black. They wouldn't be gap accounting profitable yet, I don't think. But the thing is, what they must do is build the reoccurring revenue. In other words, they've got to do some deals with the big cloud, the big hyperscaler type groups or the big clients. And if they can do that, that will make the market a lot more confident that they've got reliable income to justify what will be a very high debt load. I think they want to try and do $1.5 billion, I think, at the moment, which they need, because they've got to buy all this stuff. You know, to do a 1 gigawatt data center now from the dirt up is $50 billion by the time you fit it out. You know, with the build the building, do the cooling, and buy all the NVIDIA for a gigawatt is $50 billion.
And they're a 16 bill market cap.
Yeah.
So
for me, they're pretty speculative. I think these guys are a candidate to get onto that messy chart we saw with. They want to be one of those.
Well,
NVIDIA might put. NVIDIA's throwing money around. They've just invested at a $1.9 billion valuation into an Australian private company called Firmus, which is liquid cooling data centres they're building in Tasmania. So NVIDIA's investing money all over the place because it supports their business, but it gives them a position if these businesses do well, then they make a killing on the investment.
Yeah, they're a preferred partner of NVIDIA.
Yeah,
so,
I know that.
Yeah, so they're on their radar.
That's what I mean. So I think I'd say it's a good speculative bet. For me, I would want to see them coming up with some deals with at least one, like a Microsoft or somebody where they commit to 10 years or something, or on a take or pay deal. And those deals are being done, by the way.
Well, I have just found the interview. We had one from the 16th of February 2023, so we were on it back then. And there's also an interview on our website from the 16th of February 2024 if you'd like to have a listen.
So they were $5 then?
Yeah, they used to be called Iris Energy. Now they're called Iris Energy. Yeah. You say IREN.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's IREN. Anyways, doesn't matter.
I said urine.
Yeah, I think you did. All right. Thank you, guys. Always appreciate your insights. The stock of the day being IREN.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.